Hey everybody, it's Dave, Blue Jacket 66, here for a quick video. Haven't made a video in a little bit. It's been so hot and 4th of July and busy and just haven't been doing it. Gonna get back into it. I got a nice card that I alluded to in my last video that I would be showing from an auction house win. I kind of wanted to make a salty video. I kind of like doing those, get a lot of thumbs down with those, and but heart's not really in it, so I think I'll just make more of an upbeat video. Wanted to show a couple things. One is a Project 2020 that came in, which is a big mistake, and I'm going to try to stay positive on it, but I'm just not into it. I did want to make one quick thing that just irritated me, and I'm not going to go off on it. And it'll be very brief, but when you are wearing your mask, and I'm glad the people in Florida and Texas finally realized why we were wearing masks, a couple months ago, and you guys were yucking it up, now you see why. So when you're wearing your mask or face covering, please cover your nose as well. I'm in Target and Walmart or grocery store, wherever, and I see people just covering their mouth. Well, I don't know about you, but when I breathe, air goes in and out of my nose as well as my mouth. As a matter of fact, when they swab you for coronavirus, they swab through your nose. So essentially, when you're wearing your mask and you're just covering your mouth and not your nose, you're exposing the world to your asymptomatic coronavirus, or you're perhaps exposing yourself. So it's very simple, and I'm shocked that people don't find it to be a simple concept that you cover both your air holes with your mask. Okay, maybe it is a little salty. All right, so Project 2020, 10 card just came in, and here it is. The card that made the whole project jump the shark. The Keith Shores Ken Griffey Jr. in all its glory. Why did I buy 10? All I can say is I must have been caught up with things. I bought them, from Topps, so I was out $200. And I am out $200. I'll be doing nothing with these except for giving them away with a little contest or just free giveaways. There's no appeal to me, and I made a big mistake, and I'm admitting to it. Notice, if you will, the quality control here, the centering. Well done, Topps. This is only 2020, right? Is this not 1965 anymore? Well done, sir. So I have 10 of them. It's a big regret. I'm out $200. So I'll just be giving them away because nothing about this card appeals to me. Again, I'm collecting the Bretts and the Brett run, and occasionally you see a cool card. The Beck Williams was awesome, and again, Tyson Beck is, in my eyes, putting up some quality. And some others are putting some nice ones. Sure, it's just, I don't know, it's kindergarten art, and you can say what you want, it's kindergarten art. So that is that. What did I want to get to is my auction win from Bagger's Auction a couple weeks ago, maybe a little longer. I was a little disappointed, and I emailed Dave, is that I paid within an hour of the end of the auction by PayPal, which means he gets my funds immediately. And 9 days later, I emailed him because I hadn't done the project, and he told me that he had a lot of early pay orders, and he had a show to go to over the weekend, and I voiced my displeasure to him. I'm a good customer, but you having to go to a show should not trump me, who paid you immediately for a card. Card should have gone out the next Monday or Tuesday. I think the auction ended on a Saturday or something like that. But it did show up, and it's an amazing card. It's the 1925 through 1931 W590 strip card. These cards were a set of 80 cards that had both sports figures as well as non-sports figures. 40 of the cards are sports figures, but like Allen and Ginter and Gaudy issue, you have some mixed sports versus non-sports. Of the sports figures, specifically baseball, you have a lot of Hall of Famers and great stars of that time. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ty Cobb, Tris Speaker, Roger Hornsby, Grover Cleveland Alexander, Walter Johnson, amongst others. These cards, well, I'll just show the one I got, and it's an amazing card. It's the Babe Ruth. Excuse my reflection of me. SGC holder, of course. If you're gonna have vintage, you want it in an SGC holder. Hand cut. It says 1925 through 1931. These are blank backs. Because they were on strips of, you know, player, strips of, I can't remember how many. I think 6 to 8, but they are also in small sheets because there's been copies of those, each of those found. So they know they were in strips and sheets, and they were hand cut. And so the designation for any hand-cut card is hand-cut, and usually the grading companies will give an A for authentic and usually don't give them a numerical grade. There's always good discussion on whether or not hand-cut cards should get a numerical grade because they were meant to be hand-cut, so I don't know why they all have to just be authentic. I collect mantle bazookas, and they have dotted lines you can cut out. You can cut them on or outside of, and those a lot of times are giving, as are like hostess cards. If you stay outside the perforated line and have a good presentation, they'll give you a number grade, although sometimes they just give you an authentic. And there's those that believe a strip or hand cut card should always be designated hand cut and should always just get authentic, and other people believe they should be designated hand cut and be able to give a numerical grade. I don't know how these would get numerical grades because there's really no perforation, and if you ever see the strips or the sheets of them, there's no indication where you should cut them at all. So there's been research done on these cards, and I think it's pretty well established that these were not produced between 1925 and 1931, and that there was 2 printings, one in 1925 and another in 1931. So only 2 printings. So either the card was made in 1925 or 1931, not all along there. There's some minor evidence that perhaps there was another printing in 1928 because of that's the Roger Hornsby card. How do they know these are just printed in 1925 or 1931? Well, someone did a lot of research about players and what teams they were on, and at the time in 1925 and 31 and in between, and they essentially pieced together evidence that those were the 2 dates that they were printed. I think an example is like Grover Cleveland Alexander. There's a card of him that down here it says the Chicago Cubs, and he played for the Cubs in 1925. And there's also a card of him that says he's playing for the House of David, which was the well-known traveling team at that time, and he played in that team in 1931. All the time that he was playing with other teams in between there, like the Cardinals, there's no cards of him. Again, many players, they can make these correlations and figure out that there was just 2 printings. The question mark is the Hornsby, because there is a Rogers Hornsby card with him in a Boston uniform, and he only played in Boston in 1928. So it's not sure if perhaps he was a replacement card for someone who got taken out of the set in 1931, so they just got a picture. I don't know. They don't know. Or that perhaps there was an ultra rare 1928 printing of the W590 strip card set, and there's just 1 issue known, and that's the Hornsby. But it's just pretty much accepted there's 2 printings, 1925 and 1931, but the Hornsby in the Boston uniform is a dilemma. So I've gotten a couple Ruth cards here. Again, excuse this me showing my phone here recently. And this is a really nice image. Babe Ruth, the king of the bat, New York, American League. So I am really happy to add another vintage Ruth to my collection. Take a look at that. Nice. Really, that's a nice image, isn't it? So the 1925, and this is 1925. How do I know that? Evidently in the 1925 issues, the Babe Ruth, where their name is bold ink. Whereas in the 1931 issues, and I've compared, it's very subtle, but the names tend to be a little less bold and a tiny bit taller or thinner, I guess I should say. So this one is definitely a 1925 card. So then I'll just call it the 1925 W590 Babe Ruth. And I really wish there wasn't all this reflection. So hope it wasn't too salty. It's just so hot out. It's been like 90 plus degrees. You know, not getting out a lot of stuff around the yard. Just had a great 4th of July, you know, barbecue, bags, badminton, just playing outside and playing hard. And I think I overdid it all weekend long. So good to talk to you guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. And I've got a bunch of little mail day stuff coming in as we speak that maybe I'll make another video this coming weekend. So you all have a great week. Talk to you later.